Today is June 1st. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are going to continue our journey through working with others from Chapter 7, pages 97 through 99. Out of the personal stories, we will continue listening to the wind, page 459. And out of the 12 and 12, we will finish up tradition number 6 by reading pages 158 and 159. Whole lot of nines in today's reading. And hey, it's June now, so we've been doing this podcast for 6 months already. It's hard to believe. Just one day at a time, and we're about to finish up. Then this month, we will finish up the core text for a second time. And, we have a big chunk of the personal stories already read. So as I said yesterday, we're slowing down the pace a little bit for the personal stories. I'm just doing about a page a day. And by the time we hit January, we'll have the entire book of the personal stories done as well. So with all that, hope you're doing well, my friends. Hope you're having a great morning, great new start to this brand new set of 24 hours we've been given. So let's go ahead and press on and get to the good stuff. All right, so we are on page 97. We're talking about working with others here. How we want to do our best to help our fellow man, but at the same time, not force ourselves upon that person. They have to want it. And that was one thing we talked about yesterday quite a bit. And with that, we'll go ahead and start on page 97. Never avoid these responsibilities, but be sure that you're doing the right thing if you assume them. Helping others is the foundation stone of your recovery. A kindly act once in a while isn't enough. You have to act the Good Samaritan every day, if need be. It may mean the loss of many nights' sleep, great interference with your pleasures, interruptions to your business. It may mean sharing your money or your home, counseling frantic wives and relatives, innumerable trips to the police courts, sanitariums, hospitals, jails, and asylums. Your telephone may jangle at any time in the day or night. Your wife may sometimes say that she's neglected. A drunk may smash the furniture in your home or burn a mattress. You may have to fight with him if he is violent. Sometimes you'll have to call a doctor and administer sedatives under his direction. Another time, you may have to send for the police or an ambulance. Occasionally, you will have to meet such conditions. We seldom allow an alcoholic to live in our homes for long. It's not good for him, and sometimes creates serious complications in a family. Though an alcoholic does not respond, there is no reason why you should neglect his family. You should continue to be friendly with them. The family should be offered your way of life. Should they accept and practice spiritual principles, there's a much better chance that the head of the family will recover. And even though he continues to drink, the family will find life more bearable. For the type of alcoholic who is able and willing to get well, little charity in the ordinary sense of the word is needed or wanted. The men who cry for money and shelter before conquering alcohol are on the wrong track. Yet we do go to great extremes to provide each other with these very things, when such action is warranted. This may seem inconsistent, but we think it is not. It is not the matter of giving that is in question, but when and how to give. That often makes the difference between failure and success. The minute we put our work on a service plane, the alcoholic commences to rely upon our assistance rather than upon God. He clamors for this or that, claiming he cannot master alcohol until his material needs are cared for. Nonsense. Some of us have taken very hard knocks to learn this truth. Job or no job, wife or no wife, we simply do not stop drinking so long as we place dependence upon other people ahead of dependence upon God. Burn the idea in the consciousness of every man that he can get well regardless of anyone. The only condition is that he trust in God and clean house. Now the domestic problem. There may be divorce, separation, or strained relations. When your prospect has made such a reparation as he can to his family, and has thoroughly explained to them the new principles by which he is living, you should proceed to put those principles into action at home. That is, if he is lucky enough to have a home. Though his family be at fault in many respects, he should not be concerned about that. He should concentrate on his own spiritual demonstration. Argument and fault finding are to be avoided like the plague. In many homes, this is a difficult thing to do, but it must be done if any results are to be expected. If persisted in for a few months, the effect on a man's family is sure to be great. The most incompatible people discover they have a basis upon which they can meet. Little by little, the family may see their own defects and admit them. These can be discussed in an atmosphere of helpfulness and friendliness. After they've seen tangible results, the family will perhaps want to go along. These things will come to pass naturally and in good time provided. However, the alcoholic continues to demonstrate that he can be sober, considerate, and helpful, regardless of what anyone says or does. Of course, we all fall much below this standard many times, but we must try to repair the damage immediately, lest we pay the penalty by a spree. If there be divorce or separation, there should be no undue haste for the couple to get together. The man should be sure of his recovery. The wife should fully understand his new way of life. If their old relationship is to be resumed, it must be on a better basis, since the former did not work. This means a new attitude and spirit all around. Sometimes it is to the best interests of all concerned that the couple remain apart. Obviously, no rule can be laid down. Let the alcoholic continue his program day by day. When the time for living together has come, it will be apparent to both parties. Let no alcoholic say that he cannot recover unless he has his family back. This just isn't so. In some cases, the wife will never come back for one reason or another. Remind the prospect that his recovery is not dependent upon people. It is dependent upon his relationship with God. We have seen men get well whose families have not returned at all. We've seen others slip when the family came back too soon. Alright, some powerful stuff here. We'll come back to this in just a minute. This is story number 4 in the They Lost Nearly All section, and this is called Listening to the Wind. And yesterday we learned about this is a Native American woman who's the narrator of our story here, and she starts drinking at an early age and eventually running away. And it gets darker before it gets better. So we're on page 459. Sometime in the middle of the long, restless night, a kindly, middle-aged white man laid his hand on my shoulder. "Come on, young lady," he said. "Let's get you to some place warm and get you something to eat." The price he asked in return seemed little, considering the cold, rainy night behind me. I left his hotel with $50 in my hand, and thus began a long and somewhat profitable career in prostitution. After working all night, I would drink to forget what I had to do to pay the rent until the sunrise brought sleep. The weeks passed. I started stealing and robbed a gas station and a liquor store. I made very few friends. I had learned to trust no one. One night around 8 o'clock, a car pulled up to the curb just as I had settled myself, half drunk, against the wall of a building. I figured I had met my companion for the evening. We made the appropriate conversation to confirm the deal, and I got into the car. Suddenly, I felt a deafening blow to my temple. I was knocked senseless. In a desolate area across town, I was pulled from the car, pistol-whipped, and left to die in the mud with rain falling softly upon me. I came to in a hospital room with bars on the windows. I spent 7 weeks there, having repeated surgeries and barely recognizing my surroundings each time I woke up. Finally, when I was able to walk around a little, a policewoman came and I was taken to a county jail. It was my 3rd arrest in 2 months. Nearly 2 years on the streets had taken its toll. Whew, some heartbreaking stuff. Absolutely heartbreaking stuff. It just goes to show you that everyone's got a story, and it really breaks my heart what some poor people have been through, especially with alcoholism involved. Alright, so moving on to the 12 steps and 12 traditions. We're on tradition number 6. We're going to be finishing off the chapter today. Now, if you recall, our certain person here, which I got a feeling I know who it is, was invited to be the spokesperson for a distilling company. But the thing is, it would break his anonymity, and he would be massively known on a public level as a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. So this wasn't just about this person. This is about the program in the spotlight. This could be a dangerous proposition, especially if our man were to relapse. So again, we are going to read the top of 159. The minute we saw this compromising fact for what it was, we asked the great prospective publicity director how he felt about it. "Great guns," he said. "Of course I couldn't take the job. The ink wouldn't be dry on the first ad before an awful shriek would go up from the dry camp. They'd be out with lanterns looking for an honest AA to plump for their brand of education. AA would land exactly in the middle of the wet-dry controversy. Half the people in this country would think that we've signed up with the dries. The other half would think that we've joined the wets. What a mess." "Nevertheless," we pointed out, "you still have a legal right to take this job." "I know that," he said. "But this is no time for legalities. Alcoholics Anonymous saved my life, and it comes first. I certainly won't be the guy to land AA in big-time trouble, and this would really do it." Concerning endorsements, our friend had said it all. We saw as never before that we could not lend the AA name to any cause other than our own. All right. So going back to the big book real fast, did you notice it said it a few times, right here? Remind the prospect that his recovery is not dependent on people, but instead it is dependent upon his relationship with God. I'll be honest with you, what got me through the door was the fear of losing my wife and my children. My drinking had gotten so bad and my secrets were so destructive. But I found out very quickly that if I'm not doing this for me, I'm going to lose all that anyway. So I had to really cling to my higher power, and these steps helped me to have a much, much closer relationship with my higher power, and still do to this day. I hope that 10 years from now, Lord willing, one day at a time, that I'm closer to my higher power than I am right now. And I owe all of that to my higher power and to these steps that helped me have a closer relationship with my higher power. So my friends, if you are sober today, you are a miracle. And I'm so glad you decided to join me in this lifeboat of recovery. If we are given another set of 24 hours, I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow.